Hello, everyone, and welcome to NoStigmas Giving Tuesday virtual telethon. I'm your host for this evening, Jacob Moore, coming to you from NoStigmas studio. If this is your first time with us, we are so happy that you're with us tonight. NoStigmas is a peer support network of mental health advocates, survivors, loved ones, friends, and allies connecting through honest conversations grounded in lived experience. And that is exactly what we are here to share this evening: real, honest human experiences. We will be featuring artists, performances, guest speakers, a panel discussion, and a bit about NoStigmas. But first, if you start to feel uncomfortable at any point with anything that comes up, please take care of yourself. Pause the video and come back to it anytime to watch the show. There's no pressure, no rush. We just want you to feel safe and comfortable. So for tonight's broadcast, I am here live at NoStigmas studio, and we have teamed up with some incredible advocates who have shared their stories and their hearts with us. If you have any questions or want to engage with us during the chat on socials, feel free. Our team is standing by, and we're happy to talk with you throughout the broadcast. Whatever platform you're on, just comment in the chat, and we're there for you. Giving Tuesday is, of course, a day to remind us to give back to causes bigger than ourselves in the hopes of making this world a bit brighter. If you feel in your heart to support NoStigmas work at any point tonight or down the road, please visit nostigmas.org and learn how you can give as we champion mental health advocacy together to rid the spaces of stigmas. Now, let's jump in. Our first guest is a phenomenal singer-songwriter, wise beyond her years. Please welcome the very talented mental health ally and artist, Chloe Wilder.
Hi everyone, I'm Chloe Wilder. I'm a singer-songwriter. I'm 15 years old. I travel back and forth between Florida and California. I'm in LA right now and I'm working on my second project. So I'm having tons of fun because I just get to write a bunch of songs right now and that's my favorite thing to do. And I'm super excited to be doing this too, just to walk you through it a little bit. I've been going to therapy since I was 7. I was diagnosed with OCD with morbid thoughts, and that was where, my mental health journey began. So it was a very young age, and I'm very, grateful to my mom for noticing that something was, going on with me, because I was 7, I was so little, and I had so many feelings, and I could not express that myself. But yeah, so that's where that all started, and, I developed some really formative coping skills in therapy that I still use to this day. I figured that after I was going to therapy for, a couple of years, it would all, get a little easier, but things come back around and, I'm still on my mental health journey, but, I'm really happy to take care of myself now and I'm in a much better place. So I just really like talking about it. And yeah, when it comes to, the future of mental health advocates and just, young people in general, I just feel like I'm just happy that we're talking about it. And I think that's why I would love to say some sort of inspirational quote, but also I'm still in this myself and, I'm 15 and I am not at the end of my mental health journey and I'm not even, where I want to be yet necessarily. But I would just say that I think it's so amazing. Even we have literal national days dedicated to it at this point, which is so wild to me. And I think that that's so great. And, when I was little and going through this, I wasn't aware of all of these cool resources that we have. I think that we just need to continue on that. There's still work to do, but I think what's super cool about mental health advocacy right now is that it's actually a thing that's happening, all over the place. And I think we just need to make it bigger. And yeah, so today I'm gonna play a little song. So my song In the Next Life, I just put out a video for, so I'm gonna play that one. And that one doesn't necessarily have a major connection to mental health, but I do want to talk about songwriting and mental health because that's literally the reason I do it. But all of my songs come from a place of, trying to get something out. And that's even, I think, going to therapy at such a young age really did help me develop that skill because, I got used to talking about things with people that I didn't know and just, being able to word it in a way that I was comfortable with. And songwriting definitely became a comfort thing for me really quick. I went to my first writing camp when I was 12 and immediately, right off the bat, I was like, oh, this feels really good and I want to keep doing it. And yeah, so I'd say that everything comes from a place like that, of something that needs to be expressed in a way that feels more poetic. And I feel like the heavier things, it's easier to express them like that. And yeah, in the next life, I mean, it's one of my darker ones, but I'm really proud of the way it came out because, when you're covering such a heavy topic, to be able to express it in a pretty way, that feels really, really rewarding to me. When I listen back to it as the songwriter, I'm like, oh, that makes me feel better. It's something that when I listen to it, it comforts me, and I feel like that's the goal with all of my music. Not even because I feel like universally we're kind of comforted by similar things when it comes to music. But yeah, so it's one of my favorites, and again, just put out the video for it, so you should check it out. And yeah, honestly, and I'm such a big advocate for writing. Even if you're not a songwriter, even if you hate writing, even if you think it's not good at all, and just writing for yourself. And even if you are a songwriter, I think it's really healthy to just sit down and write for yourself. There's something to writing down what you're feeling and looking at it and reading it, because it's you can almost separate yourself from it for a minute and be like, okay, this is actually real. These are valid feelings. And that's why I do it so much. But yeah, this is in the next life. Thank you so much for having me. I had a great time.
I wish that people actually realize that it's difficult and it's hard and it's something that people feel. They really feel it and they go through it when it's happening.
That it is a serious situation. I've heard people say it's all in your head. It's kind of weird. But, it's all in their head. They're making it up. It's something that's real. A lot of people in this world deal with some type of mental health issue or illness, and they're people. At the end of the day, they're people.
I would have to say that, for example, mental illnesses are not an excuse. And no, I can't just ignore it.
I wish people knew that with mental health, even though it starts in your head, it's not all in your head, and it's real, and it's something that's happening to you. And you can reach out to other people, you can seek professional help, you can look up support groups, and it doesn't make you weak or less than.
I wish people knew or realized how much it helps to have somebody there.
I hope that people are not as foolish as I was when I was younger. Everyone has problems, and some people have a different problem and more problems than others. They're just different, but they're not any worse. And that's the one thing that I kind of wish and hope that people take away from this.
Like, everyone has some sort of mental health breakdown or success, and mental health doesn't just mean like a negative. We have positive mental health stats and negative mental health moments and all of those organic pieces that make up life. So just that everything makes up mental health. Everything that we do makes up mental health, and that it's important to take care of each other, take care of ourselves.
And to all the members of the NoStigmas community for sharing their stories with us and for being so honest and vulnerable. Our next guest is no stranger to storytelling herself. She's a Florida native, professional dancer, and actress. She is so strong, and we're very proud of her for being who she is and sharing a bit of her heart with us tonight. Please welcome Jamie McPeak.
Hi, my name is Jamie McPeak, and I'm a professional performer. I've been dancing and acting and singing since a very young age, and now I'm happy to have it as my career and my outlet, which what I mean by outlet is I'm also a survivor. I'm a survivor of really extreme obsessive compulsive disorder, anxiety, depression, and anorexia. NoStigmas obviously means a lot to me because I am a huge mental health advocate. I know what it's like to be at the very bottom and to feel like there's no hope left. And I have used everything I feel to advocate for those who maybe don't have such a strong support system or feel like they can't talk about it. So I really appreciate what NoStigmas does, and I'm happy to be working with them and partnering up with them. I actually have created my own movement called Flip of a Coin and am going to be making that a movie, and the movie is going to be helping to raise awareness about mental illness and helping to break the stigma and helping to educate those who don't have it and don't understand what it's like to really see what living with a mental illness can look like for some people. So like I said, I've dealt with really severe obsessive compulsive disorder really from the age around like 4 to 6 when my symptoms really started showing, and I could not make a decision without literally wanting to die, and my compulsions got really bad. And then as my brain grew up, so did my internal bully, and the thoughts became more intense, and really between the ages of 7 and 10 is when the breakdowns would get more frequent, and I didn't really understand what was wrong with me. I just knew that I was forced to do things I didn't want to do. I was thinking these thoughts that didn't really make any sense and that I didn't believe. And I could tell I had such a loving family and everything, but I was so miserable. And I was just thinking, like, I had everything. Why was I so miserable? And then the older I got, the harder this bully would throw punches at me. And at age 11, I became anorexic. And really, once I hit 12, from 12 to let's say 19, the activity in my head started increasing and I started losing sight of what was real and what wasn't. I really didn't know if what I was thinking was real because my mind was twisting it so much. And my thoughts would take control in everything I did. I criticized myself ad nauseum. I always needed that constant reassurance that what I was thinking was not real. And then my thoughts really tried to knock me down, and on several occasions they got really close to it, a little bit too close to it. And there's one thing that my mind couldn't take from me, and that was my determination. And since I was constantly beating myself up on the inside, I decided externally to be the best. And that's kind of what fueled my passion for performing even more, and fueled me to want to make a movie about this. And everything I've used my OCD to make myself successful. And I noticed that at age 19 is when I truly just said to myself, I cannot change my OCD. I cannot go back in time and get rid of it, but I can use it to benefit me, and I can embrace it, and I can accept it. I don't have to love it, because I don't love it, but I can accept it, and I can accept that it is, while I don't identify with it, it is a part of who I am, and I can use it to my benefit. And that was the biggest life changer of my life. And so really years ago, I really didn't know if I was going to have a future. And now I know I'm going to have the brightest future because of it, because it's made me so much stronger, and because my drive is so intensified. And not saying I've recovered 100%, not saying I'm perfect, because it still does get very dark and scary inside my head sometimes. But every day that I push through it is another day that I'm telling that bully that I will stand up to you. You won't have this power over me. And I really realized that you need to treat an internal bully like an external bully. You have to stand up to it. And the more that you give into it, the more power it gets. But the more that you ignore it and push through and go about your life, it'll start to back off a little bit, because it's realizing it's not hurting you. And it can be really hard, and again, with the stigma against mental illness, it can be really hard because society isn't there to always back you up. And that's a scary feeling. So what I love about what I'm doing with Flip of a Coin and with NoStigmas is that, we're really trying to show that you are not alone, no matter how dark and scary it feels, and that it is okay to reach out for help. And it doesn't make you less of a person. It doesn't define you. It's another obstacle that you have to deal with, just like someone has to deal with a broken leg. I'm a dancer. I've broken my feet. I've broken my toes. And it's just another obstacle. And that's how I view bad days. They're just another obstacle that I have to go through. So I'm, again, just so grateful that I'm able to team up with NoStigmas and share my story and share my voice. And I wish I had more time to talk about, because I could keep going on and on and on. But just please know that you are not alone. There are people who love you, and you are not your mental illness. You are so much more.
The NoStigmas Ally program can guide you through the journey of becoming a mental health advocate for all. As you move through this process, you may also hear about the benefits of storytelling. At NoStigmas, we have the Speak program that works to reduce stigmas and helps to create a safe space so you can have an open dialogue about mental health. These are typically done in 15-minute talks. If you're interested in requesting a speak for your community, or if you're interested in telling your own story, NoStigmas is here to listen. Visit us at nostigmas.org for more information.
Thank you to Jamie and Samantha. If you feel inspired to start your own movement in your community, to stand up as a mental health advocate in your school, home, workplace, anywhere, we're here to support you. NoStigmas believes in empowering advocates to enact change in their own lives. If we all do a little bit, we can change the world for the better. Learn more about how we can support you at NoStigmas.org and reach out to us. We're so happy to connect with you. So now, our next artist knows all too well the value of speaking up and speaking out. She has lived expertise with mental health and is a professional writer, producer, and performer, and has used her pain to fuel her purpose. We're so honored for her to be here with us tonight. Please welcome the Alabama native with one foot in LA, the incredible Erica E. Wade.
Hi, I'm Erica E. Wade, and I am so fortunate to be able to speak with you all on mental health advocacy and specifically my life and experiences with bipolar disorder. I've been an artist for pretty much as long as I can remember existing. Ever since I could breathe and talk and walk, I've wanted to tell stories and to share my perspective and experiences on life. Little did I know, a lot of the way that I told stories had to do with me having bipolar disorder. My mania is my source of creativity. It is also a source of unending energy and charisma. Now, while those things sound amazing, it can be a bit difficult to live life dealing with the fine balance between mania, reality, and the ups and downs that come with bipolar disorder. But if I could share any piece of advice or advocacy to people who are dealing with mental health or any other specific trauma-related or life-related or any sorts of issues, it would be to love yourself first. Start with the work internally before you can give out love or any type of emotion to others externally. If you don't love yourself, in the words of RuPaul, how in the are you going to love anybody else? I'm okay. I promise. Just a little slower than usual. I stayed up all night worrying about being worried about this morning. No, but I'm going to be okay. I had a possibly manic rager this weekend. I don't want to talk about it yet. I felt freedom. I felt like for the first time in a very long time, I just said what I wanted to say. I wasn't afraid of feeling. When did who taught me to shrink when I could observe what's happening to me? When I could observe what's happening to me and know that I too am somebody worth seeing. I am late. I know. Believe me, I feel your disappointment. I count every single moment that my mind tells me that I've disappointed someone in their day. Does that sound okay? I feel your pain. But it's my instincts that constantly tell me that my own body is wrong when I want to say that I hurt too. The completely honest truth is I'm not okay. I'm not okay today, or maybe this moment, or I'm not okay for however long it takes for me to heal through this. I know that I'm always late, but if you knew how many times I took a lap around my own mind just to convince myself I can do this. And I'm no longer interested in counting time. Or with wasting mine and pretending that mine is okay to be squandered by people and events that don't return my energy. I am manic. You can call me crazy. But I know that there is someone out there who is going to love every moment of it. I know because I'm someone. I am someone worth seeing. I'm someone, despite the crazy ways my moves be swinging. I too am someone. And I love every part of me. Past, future, and currently. I am manic. And I feel feelings that flow through my body so freely. I have a lot of feelings. And that's okay. That's more than okay. I'm more than okay.
Thank you, Erica, for that real and raw display of emotions. If that was activating for you or triggering for you, I want you to know that you're not alone. And if you or someone you know is experiencing an immediate crisis, please call the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline at 800-273-TALK. That's 800-273-8255, or visit suicidepreventionlifeline.org. You can also text ALLY, ALLY, to 741-741 to connect with a crisis counselor 24/7 in English or Spanish, and visit crisistextline.org to message a counselor via Facebook and WhatsApp. And if you're someone you know is in immediate danger, please call your local emergency services. All right, now let's hear from members of our NoStigmas community.
First off, I love you, whoever you are, and thank you. And you know for a fact that if the tables are ever turned, the shoes on the other foot, I would do the exact same thing for you. And me personally, I would rather sacrifice things in my life to make sure that someone else is happy, and if it could help them and they wouldn't have to go through any type of depression or anxiety.
Well, they're both deceased now, but I would have to thank my grandparents. Like I said, they took me in when no one else would. I just want to thank them because I am who I am because of them. I went off to college. I'm trying to make something of myself. I believe in God. I believe in a higher power. So I'm able to live a better life because of them. So I pretty much owe them my life. And I just hope they're proud.
There'd be times where my best friend she knew I was going through an episode and she would just let me go through it. And that was sometimes the best thing for me. And then there were other times she would just pull me out of bed and she was like, no, this is over. So both having me live through it and then pulling me out, it's the best thing someone's ever done for me.
You just got to keep flowing. You got to keep going through it. There's going to be some rough days, but then through all those rough days, it builds characters. It builds a certain sense of character, and you'll become stronger for it. You just got to keep moving, Just take it one step at a time, one day at a time, and man, when it's over, you're gonna look back and go, man, that was tough, but look how strong I am now because I went through it.
Wow, such powerful advice and testimonials from the NoStigmas community. Honestly, they get me every time. So our next speaker is a veteran member of the NoStigmas community, our think tank, and the co-creator of our ally training program, as well as a fierce advocate for trauma-aware education and training. Please welcome our next speaker, Elizabeth Notstein.
Hey, thanks so much for taking the time to tune in and hear a little bit about my mental health story. So first things first, I just want to offer a trigger warning because I will be talking about things under the category of sexual trauma and intimate partner violence. So do whatever you need to do to take care of yourself. Thank you. Well, let's just jump right in. So I think with sexual trauma, we can get a little bit buzzwordy about it because it has gone mainstream. And as important as that is, like with the great movements of Time's Up, other things happening across many industries, we are just kind of forgetting that the survivor had their own experience and are currently experiencing speaking out and living in recovery. So for me, I experienced intimate partner violence when I was in an abusive relationship in high school. And that was a really developmentally important time, for anybody, but for me especially. I had a very simple childhood. It was trauma-free, had a really strong moral compass, and felt like I understood how the world was meant to work, ideally. And then when it didn't, it really threw me for a loop. And even though I knew that what was happening was extremely wrong and actually criminal, I had no idea. I was really, really stuck in it. And between the gaslighting and the dissociation from physical and psychological pain, it took me finally having the end of the tunnel of graduation to actually use the words of what was happening to me. And I was really afraid of speaking out. And it has impacted me for the rest of my life. I mean, there's no way that we can experience any type of trauma and not coexist with it in some way. And I was fortunate because I had access to therapy I was able to build an amazing peer support community and distance myself from the abuser, which is not always the case when we're talking about domestic violence and other things that really, really complicate it. So I would say for me, like the biggest part of living as a survivor in recovery is just how much work it takes to maintain fulfilling relationships and really always grounding myself to be present. They're much less prevalent now, but flashbacks are really, really big. I still frequently have nightmares. There are trigger spots. I have store trauma in my body. And it's just like constant work to be able to feel like myself. So if anybody who's watching this relates to that or has had similar experiences, just know that you're not alone in that. And it takes work, but it's really possible to do. I mean, I never thought I would be like at this point in talking with other people and saying, hey, you can do it. Because at one point I was suicidal. I really just didn't want to live in the world that I was living in anymore. And I just didn't see any other way that it could work out. But I'm really glad I stayed. I'm really glad that I was able to find some support and some help and find partners who were able to work with me in intimate relationships. I mean, my God, sex after sexual trauma seems like an impossible feat. And sometimes I still struggle with it. But when you do have people around you that will listen to you and actively engage with you and make sure that you're safe and okay, that's when growing really happens. So I'm just here to say that I see you and I think you're worthy of it. And no matter what it is that you went through, I think you can really develop a strong and fulfilling life, truly. One of the things I hate that people say about trauma is that they're like, it makes you stronger. And I really, really dislike that because I think it actually makes you weak. What you go through as a child, as an adolescent, as an adult, whatever, the trauma, it breaks you. And that's why it's called trauma. And it's putting yourself back together and making those decisions every moment, every day for yourself is what makes you stronger. So let's forget all of the phrases and the platitudes about having an opportunity to heal or grow from something, because I think it's BS. It sucks. Things suck. And trauma is, there's nothing redeeming about it. There's nothing good. There's no lesson in it. It just sucks. I'm really sorry if it happened to you. But I know that if I can do it and I can heal from it and be living in recovery and find joy, pleasure, kindness, compassion, empathy, joy, if I can find all those things in life, then I know it's possible for anybody else too. So I see you and thank you so much for listening. And I hope it helps because it's really good to know you're not alone in this. And you're not.
Do you want to use your voice to create a positive change for mental health awareness? The NoStigmas Trauma Aware Interactions program helps to train participants to become advocates for individuals who've experienced some type of trauma throughout their life. And this advocacy is beneficial for any community. At NoStigmas, we also believe that anyone can become an advocate, and that starts with our youth. The Youth Matters program helps to train youth and young adults on how to recognize the signs of mental health challenges and how to become an advocate for themselves and others. This advocacy is also important in workplace mental health. The NoStigmas Rise, Aim, Soar program helps to train workplace managers on how to identify mental health and to improve it for their employees, which can help boost their workplace performance.
Thank you, Elizabeth and Samantha. Hey, if you want to collaborate with us, support our work, or need us to support your outreach and advocacy efforts, reach out to us at NoStigmas.org. There, you can also find ways to donate or partner with us as a sponsor through your company or organization. All right, now I'm very happy to share highlights from a conversation I had with 4 powerful voices for mental health advocacy this past weekend. They are all fairly fresh voices in our No Stigmas family, and we're so happy to team up with them. So, artist Erica and speaker Jamie, who you heard from earlier, join authors Jason Wood and Oliver Seligman. Hailing from Florida, Colorado, Alabama, and Scotland, please enjoy our panel discussion with these fantastic champions of mental health advocacy. Hello, everybody. Welcome. My name is Jacob Moore, and today I have a fantastic panel of wonderful human beings with lived experiences related to mental health. Today, we are going to dive deep into what I am calling the aha moment. What is that moment when you understood that you needed to make a change to go from just surviving to be able to thrive in your life? So today we're going to talk about things related to bipolar disorder and eating disorders and suicide. And these are tough topic, folks. So if you feel yourself becoming flooded with feelings, emotions, triggered, if this is bringing up stuff for you, I just want you to know that you're not alone, and please reach out for the support that you need.
I like to say that I am a storyteller and a hellraiser of sorts.
Yeah, so I am a guy battling an eating disorder, and I'm not going to be quiet about it.
I am a professional performer and a huge mental health advocate.
I'm the author of Befriending Bipolar.
That aha moment. What was that moment that really just illuminated that there was something that needed to change? Can you all share that? Jason, I'll start with you. I'll pick on you first. You talked about this PETA moment. Can you share that glimpse for us?
Yeah, so the infamous PETA incident, but it was at the point when I was at my lowest mentally, emotionally, physically. I was just turned very negative against myself, against the world. And a simple thing like substituting the pita bread for fresh vegetables on a hummus platter was enough to just completely break me to the point where I wanted to end a vacation. I was just emotionally at my lowest point. I just remember sitting there shaking and just being completely overwhelmed. And it was in that moment that my husband spoke up and raised his concerns about not just my eating habits, but about unresolved pain from my past that I had been kind of concealing for 15 plus years. And when I heard those words, it was my aha moment, because I was like, I don't want to live like this anymore. I don't want this negative view of the world, of myself. There's got to be happiness out there, and I've got to go searching for it. I've got to take, the things I learned while I was in my own survival mode and put those now in survival mode for my recovery, because I want to be happy and I want to be healthy.
Now, right? It wasn't about the PETA. It was everything building up to that, right? And I know, Jamie, you had in your youth experiences that led to your high school challenges.
Yeah, I have severe obsessive compulsive disorder, and I started showing signs of it when I was 4, actually. And at the age of 7 is when I was diagnosed. So really young age. And as I kind of grew up, my brain started developing more. As when the obsessiveness started getting a lot worse. And I was telling Jacob earlier that, I would always put on the mask of being like this pretty popular girl in school. And then every day I would go into the bathroom for 20, 30 minutes and just be hysterically crying on the phone with my mom and freaking out. And then I would walk out like, oh, hey guys, what's up? Just like nothing even happened. And it was that build up. I became suicidal at age 10. I became anorexic at age 11. I had already been on a lot of medications. But it's hard, when your brain's growing up, to try to, your brain's always changing as you're growing up. So medications just would work sometimes, wouldn't work other times.
Yeah.
And then I kind of all like culminated, as you were saying, when I was in high school, and at age 18 is when I tried to take my own life, and gladly it did not work, but I did see firsthand what it did to all of my family and friends. And that was my aha moment, was when I saw that it really is not the answer, that me doing that did not change anything. It spread, the pain to all of my loved ones. And that was a terrible feeling. And that's when I kind of used my OCD and anxiety, depression, everything to be a motivator rather than a hindrance. And like I said, I'm a professional performer, so I use, the obsessiveness of trying to be perfect and everything into my career and into my performance. And I really learned to accept myself and accept what I have and accept that I cannot change it. So now how do I move forward and use it to my benefit? And that was my aha moment. And that is what has changed my life around.
What was that like for you, going from those severe side effects to that aha moment?
Well, after about 20 years of taking some pretty strong medication, and then 4 years of trying to reduce it and be without it, and then going back on it, I found myself in a situation where physically I was an absolute mess. I got the shakes, I got lots of headaches, I didn't really have any energy. I would wake up in the middle of the night, not be able to sleep for 2 or 3 hours, and it was just hard work. But it was quite funny because one morning I got out of bed and I wandered through into the sitting room. It was like 11 in the morning. I always slept in really, really late because I was such a mess. And I went through to the living room and I was giggling to myself. And my wife was there. She said, "Why are you laughing?" And I said, "Well, I've just realized that if I stay the way I am physically for the rest of my life, I'll be fine because I'm actually finally happy." And it was an amazing moment for me because it was the moment when I realized that my happiness was more important than anything else. And even though I had all these challenges in my life and I had, difficult situation like many people, if I could be happy, that was what was worth celebrating. And that was what was worth sort of feeding and supporting. And suddenly I just accepted my situation. I'd been fighting it on and off for 30 years. And in that moment, I just kind of accepted it, or at least started to accept it. And then luck sort of happened, and I was offered a job and I was given different treatment and things progressed. And for the last 5 years, I've been really well. And even the physical side effects aren't as bad as they have been. So I'm a big fan of acceptance.
I actually was misdiagnosed early in life as a kid as being someone that suffered with depression and anxiety. And it never felt quite right. And that always felt difficult to announce out loud that, yes, I know that there's something that's off, but this is not it. And I need to know exactly what it is so I can breathe and confront the monster that I've been pushing under the closet or in the closet. And so it took a long time, because I started to learn how to perform with my mental illness and how to make it work for me in ways that people liked and appreciated. And even though that was draining and every moment of my existence became this performance, I didn't really learn what that relief might feel like until I went in and asked for a recheck. I needed someone to tell me if this was correct, if the medication that I was on was working, if the treatment was working. And it turns out that I actually was misdiagnosed and am currently under the diagnosis of bipolar disorder 1. And having that label is a lot, but feeling relief and knowing that that is exactly what I'm dealing with and that's what I need to try to align in life feels so much better.
How do you like to advocate? How does that look for you? What do you find most effective?
So for me, it's about storytelling. I think I call that like our superpower, because we can get out there and share our stories and our experiences. And we all have battles that we face. We've all had rocky roads that we've had to take to get to where we're at today. And I think we have so much power when we have the ability to share our stories, because it's lived experience. You can read about something, you could see it in a textbook, but when you have that lived experience, it takes on a different meaning.
Such a great conversation with these amazing human beings. That's just part of it. We got deep into it, and we're going to be sharing the full panel discussion this coming week. So stay tuned on our social channels for that. We hope you enjoyed getting to know our panel and really connected with their lived expertise. All right, so our final act of the night is from yet another phenomenal voice in the world of singer-songwriters. He knows the importance of allyship and having a hand in creating safe spaces for our peers, classmates, friends, and family. I know you will enjoy getting to know him and the performance he's sharing with us tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome from Australia by the way of Los Angeles, Kai Baldwin.
Hello, everybody. My name is Kai Baldwin, and I would like to thank NoStigmas, first off, so much for putting on this event and letting me be a part of it. I'm a musician from Sydney, Australia, though I'm currently living in LA. And a big focus of mine when I'm writing songs and creating videos is to tell stories that matter, and then hopefully inspire people through those stories. I was really fortunate to have a mum who focused very heavily on mine and my sister's self-confidence. So when the bullies came our way, and they always do, we were ready for them. And my passion is to share that life-changing message with as many people as I can. Because no one is exempt from rough times. The rich, the healthy, the loved, the successful, it doesn't come with the protection that people think it does. The only real power is belief in yourself and knowing that you get to decide what your life will be. Life is a painting, and you've got the brush. It's a constant and never-ending commitment to building that strength. When I was 9, I was on Australia's Got Talent, tap dancing, as a soloist. And I had a complete blast. It was the time of my life. I got a standing ovation, and I lapped it up. I loved every second. And when my episode went to air, my dad was reading out the tweets about me, right? And they were all really, really positive. They were all mainly talking about how happy I was. But there was this one tweet, and my dad wasn't reading ahead, so he read it out loud. And it said, "Man, can someone just shoot this kid in the head? He's way too happy." And I was shocked, and I started to cry. You know, why would someone want to shoot me? And my mum told me then and there. She said, "Welcome to the real world, where people are so angry and so jealous that they talk about shooting a kid just for being happy." And if I wanted to be in this industry, this was the type of crap that I would expect constantly. And she made me promise then and there to never let it get to my heart, and to recognize that it's 100% a reflection of the person writing the comments, and it has nothing to do with me. And so I did, I promised, and now, hundreds, probably thousands of negative comments later, it's never once gotten to me. Each of you, too, have probably had a person like that come at you. Sometimes it's even a friend or a family member, which sucks. But the responsibility of our lives is always going to be on us. What happens to you might not be your fault, but how you pick yourself up from that and how you move forward is entirely your responsibility. If you need help, ask for it, of course. Life is just challenges and then solutions, and challenges, solutions, and we need to put in that work. And personally, I think life is well worth the effort. What I wanted to show you today was my song and video Depression is a Monster, which talks about the idea of putting on a brave face and hiding behind a mask, and to not do that, please. Sometimes negative emotions can not have a catalyst. You can just feel and if you do feel like that for an extended period of time, say like a week or more, then it's time to take that incredibly difficult but incredibly brave first step, which is reaching out to someone. Whether that's a professional or a parent or a trusted friend, there are so many extraordinary resources out there just waiting to help you. So yes, this is Depression is a Monster, and thank you NoStigmas once again for having me, and I hope you enjoy.
She was broken, not softly spoken. She carried a pain that we couldn't see, but beneath that fantasy, she was all alone. She was faking, her heart was breaking. Did I tell her she was everything to me? That I'm right here and that she was not alone. Depression is a monster that takes your heart as prey, while it leaves you drowning and takes your breath away. Now it's too late to save the day. It could be your mother's son, it could be your father's daughter, anyone. The funny guy at school, the girl you thought was the one. You're more than a memory, you know you took a part of me, part of me. You were my beautiful bird, left me with broken wings. Now I can't fly with you. She was falling, just trying to hold on to a world that held her promises. A broken thread of confidence is all she's ever known. Depression is a monster that leaves your heart to waste, while it leaves you drowning and takes your breath away. Now it's too late to save the day. Save the day. It could be your mother's son, it could be your father's daughter, anyone. The funny guy at school, the girl you thought was the one. You're more than a memory, you know you took a part of me, part of me. You were my beautiful bird, left me with broken wings. Now I can't fly with you. It's been 8 months to the day since I found you where you lay, with the note saying you were not okay. Self-loathing and despair, hidden pages we were unaware, and a heart that just can't repair. Now it's too late, you've gone away. It could be your mother's son, it could be your father's daughter, anyone. The funny guy at school, the girl you thought was the one. You're more than a memory, you know you took a part of me, part of me. I'll never fly with you.
Wow, that video is so powerful, and it just brings it home. So much pain can be invisible, but as allies and advocates, we can look out for ourselves and others, and at the end of the day, save lives. That's what we're here for, preventing any loss of life. Suicide prevention is key, and we can show up for others even when they feel like they have lost all light and hope. Thank you, Kai, for sharing your talent and your story with us. I want to give a shout out to Kelly and Samantha and everyone else who's been here with us throughout the evening. Thanks for commenting. Thanks for chatting. We really appreciate it. Alrighty, folks, that's our time. On behalf of NoStigmas and all the other voices we got to know tonight, I want to thank you for being with us on this Giving Tuesday. A big shout out to the mastermind behind tonight's event, Lance Bordelon, and the entire behind the scenes team, the content creators, John, our video editor, Maggie, Eli, Victoria, Mari, and thank you to all of you at home. We want to get to know you and see how we can work together to champion mental health advocacy. So please visit us at nostigmas.org to reach out and learn more. We always appreciate any donations and sponsorships, but more importantly, we want to ensure that spaces that we live in and work in are free of stigmas. We can do this. We can prevent suicide. We can show up for ourselves and the ones we love together. We see you. We love you, and you are enough. Please connect with us at nostigmas.org and at nostigmas on all the social channels. I'm Jacob Moore. Talk to you soon. Be well, and good night.